Attenzione, pickpocket!
Attenzione, Ferrari! Attenzione, pickpocket!
Attenzione, Ferrari e pickpocket!
Attenzione, 8th championship for Lewis Hamilton. Fuck you, Mercedes. It's going to happen with us. And Maranello, baby. Gonna make Ferrari great again.
Woo! You know,
Woo!
Brian, I'm surprised you haven't asked me in the 30 seconds we've been talking. I'm surprised you haven't asked me one simple question. What does it feel like to be a genius?
Dude, we're so right.
Buying up all that fuck Mercedes real estate early.
Yeah.
We were like, you know what? Fuck Mercedes. And I was saying it from the beginning of like really early on in my fandom. Like, I think Mercedes and Toto kind of sucks. And I think this brand kind of sucks. And I think once Lewis leaves, it's going to be like rats scurrying off a sinking ship.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point of them without Lewis? And you know what? It took Lewis a little while, but he came onto my tip.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Toto and his clean bathrooms and his fucking corporate psychobabble bullshit. Not grateful for that, babe. Not grateful. You know? And Lou, and I remember last week, I'm sorry, I'm going to just fillet myself for a second. Last week I said, you know, Toto re-signs himself and is like, I can't wait to be here for 2 more years with Lewis. And I said to myself, you know, Toto talks a lot about me and Lewis. Me and Lewis against the world. And Lewis never says me and Toto.
Right.
You know, Lewis says me and everybody, like to think everybody back at the factory. Like, it's like there's some distance there. I'm like, does Lewis fuck with Toto? And I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I think we found out the answer to that today when the answer to that is no. The answer to that is no.
What's no in Italian? Is it just no? Is it no?
No.
Is it no?
Italian. No. It's no with an accent on the O. It's no.
No.
The answer to that is no. No. Lewis Hamilton, obviously you've heard the news. Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes. He is taking his talents to Maranello.
He's saying arrivederci.
Arrivederci, Toto. Arrivederci, Toto. I mean, this news, oh my God, I'm so amped up. I cannot tell you how much this news makes me realize how little I give a fuck about the Andretti news. That's what this news was really made clear to me today, is that, like, the Andretti news happened yesterday, and that shit is so fucking far in my fucking rear view. I'm putting that whole town in my rear view, dude. No, this is unbelievable. I'm so excited about what's happening. This hat that I'm wearing right now, I don't know if you remember this, Matt, but in middle school, I rocked a Ferrari hat for like years. I had like a beat up Ferrari hat. And then I remember it was so beat up that I was like, my parents were like, we're going to get you a new one. And they got me this one, and I never wore it. And I was at home like a couple weeks ago, and I found this thing dusted off. I got to dust this thing off. This thing is like 15 years old. And I'm wearing it today because Lewis Hamilton's going to be on fucking Ferrari. I mean, where do we even begin? Where do we start with this?
Well, we start with the fact that I think from when we started this podcast, we came out guns blazing against Ferrari.
Right.
And it's taken a long time for me. And now we've come around like, you know what? Ferrari's cool. Mercedes sucks because we can't just live a hate-free life. The hate has to be transferred somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we transferred all our hate credits to Mercedes, and I'm feeling really good about that. And I also we bought all this land on fuck Mercedes Island.
Yes.
And now and you and I just kind of own it by ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
Like there are Max Verstappen fans that hate Mercedes, but they really just hate Lewis. So like that won't change.
We've never hated Lewis. We've hated Mercedes, and we've hated Toto. But we've never hated Lewis, and we like kind of bought early, got the stock when it was low on the like. I think this Toto Wolff guy is kind of a scam.
But we're about to make a fortune just selling our parcels of land to all these fucking quote unquote Merc fans.
Oh yeah,
all these people.
They're about to fucking flee, dude. They're fleeing. You know what this is? You know what?
By the way, now I'm buying some of the Merc stock because I'm now buying because I love George Russell.
But you know what? You know what this whole situation reminds me of, because it's like, yes, all of the Mercedes is about to find out just how much Lewis Hamilton was the reason for the fandom, not the Mercedes brand. All these Brits who like loved Mercedes as if it was a British company. It's not. It's a German company. Just because they're headquartered in Britain doesn't mean that it's a British company. All of those fans are about to go parlay. No,
German products were not too. And people who were alive to remember German products were used against them.
That's right.
Not too long ago.
That's right. But you know what this whole situation that this reminds me of? All of the Lewis fans who are about to be wearing red come Sunday in 2025. It's I drink your milkshake vibes. I mean, Fred Vasseur and who's the CEO of Ferrari? Because that's who made this deal.
Elkann.
Yeah.
John Elkann.
Yeah. John Elkann went
Jew,
to Toto.
By the way.
Okay, for show. John Elkann went to Toto Wolff and said, I have a straw that goes all the way over to you, and it runs down, and I drink your milkshake. I drink
drainage, Toto.
Drainage, Toto. No one gives a fuck about Mercedes, Toto. They give a fuck about Lewis, Toto. And now Lewis will be wearing red on Sundays, Toto, because you know, Toto, that when a child draws a race car, he draws it red, Toto.
And one of those children was definitely Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
Because we learn, that's something I've been learning is like how big Ferrari really is.
Yeah.
And that pull. And Michael couldn't resist. He won 2 at Benetton, and he was like, I want to do it at Ferrari.
Right.
And he struggled to make it happen at Ferrari.
That's right.
And then Vettel left Red Bull.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'd rather get 1 at Ferrari than win more at Red Bull. You know.
Alonso went to Ferrari.
Alonso went to Ferrari. These guys, they can't resist. It's just, it's too. It's like going to the Knicks and trying to win.
Yeah. Right.
Or the Lakers. Although the Lakers actually win sometimes, the Knicks never do.
That's right.
So it's more. They're more like the Lakers or the Yankees.
Right.
That sort of thing.
And what it speaks to is that, like, because there was so much talk. I mean, what this situation also highlighted for me is that, like, you can't believe anything that, like, these guys say.
Except for Christian Horner.
You don't never believe anything he says.
No, Christian Horner said that Lewis was talking to Ferrari, didn't he?
Right. I don't know. There
were
those rumors, right? There were those rumors. There's the famous clip of them asking Charles, like, there are rumors, about who your future teammate's going to be, and then Charles goes like, "Hello, Lewis," because they're on the dais together, and they're like,
right. But people thought that Charles might go to Mercedes. They never actually thought that Lewis would pull the trigger.
Yeah, no one saw this coming. But and also because, like, Lewis for years was like, I built this thing with Mercedes, and like, I want to see that through. Like, I people say I want to go to Ferrari, but like I don't. So like, you just can't believe what they say. I also think that it probably goes to show how bad this Mercedes car is gonna be. That like I don't think they've figured it out, because like Lewis had some time to see like what they're cooking up over at Mercedes, and I don't think he was impressed. I mean, he could not have been impressed with what James Allison is cooking up over there at Mercedes, because what, he's fucking gone. He's fucking out of there like a bad habit.
I also probably don't think he liked that James Allison is like, okay, now I'll devote my full time to this.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because James Allison was like, no, I'm here now. I mean, now I'm back. It's like, oh, now you're here. And, even when Toto re-signed, he was saying something to the effect of like, yeah, like they're like, are you afraid of getting burnout? He's like, and he literally said, I'm more afraid of getting bore out than burnout, And he's just like, I'm going to keep doing this until this is like not fun for me anymore. And then I'll stop. And like, he talked about it like, this is something that's fun for him. And it's like, that's when you realize that Toto is doing this for fun. He's a billionaire.
Right.
He's doing this because it's fun for him.
Sandbox
and it's
world.
interesting for him.
Right.
Whereas, like, you talk to a guy like Fred Vasseur, this is his life.
Yep.
He can't go and do anything else. This is it. This is his entire life. He's never going to get bored of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy brings a lunch pail to work every day until he dies. Yep. John Elkann is in the Agnelli family. This is his, he's a billionaire, nepo baby, but this is the family business. He's not doing anything else with his life.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is his birthright. So, when you're Lewis Hamilton, you're watching a guy say, I'm doing this because it's fun for me. You're like, okay. That doesn't feel good to someone who's devoted their entire fucking life to this thing.
Right.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
You see this guy as like a rich guy who does it as a hobby.
Right.
Whereas, your Christian Horners, your Fred Vasseurs, Gunther Steiners, like these guys that just is all they fucking do. That's it.
And it's all they've ever done.
It's all they've ever done.
They didn't kind of pop into it later after they were like, almost on their way to becoming a billionaire. And they were like, hey, let's go play in that sandbox. They came up through this world. It's also
they don't take races off.
Right. Yes. I know. The voluntary knee surgery. I mean, we've been shouting about this shit for a long fucking time.
With the voluntary knee surgery, calling on the phone like when my dad had to call from out of town.
Yeah.
When I was yelling at my sister because and my mom's holding the speakerphone being like, and my dad goes, kids, stop fighting. It's like, that's the vibe. Yeah. Out of town dad.
Yes.
Town dad.
You think Lewis felt good when Toto wasn't coming to for the most brutal races of the year when he was getting knee surgery when a month earlier he was fucking wakeboarding on his yacht? Do you think that made him feel good? These are the things that add up into Mercedes losing their most valuable asset. It was just like a given. Of course, Lewis is going to say
F1's most valuable. They lost F1's most valuable asset.
Yes, they did. Apparently, Lewis told Toto yesterday.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
The disrespect. I mean, before the season even starts, the season hasn't started. This is going to be an awkward fucking year. It's going to be so awkward this year. As Christian Horner said it best.
Are they going to try? Sorry.
What Christian Horner said about Daniel Ricciardo, he said, it's like you've broken up, but you're still living with your girlfriend. She's still in the house. She's left you for some other guy, and she's still at the house with all of her shit there. It's going to be crazy. George. How do you think George Russell's feeling right now?
Massive erection.
He is
or he might be shriveled up because he's already come so much. There's no left to.
Yeah, he could not be more satisfied because it was looking like, hey, George, your days are numbered here at Mercedes.
Yes.
And now, and Toto even said when he re-signed, he was like, I'm doing this with Lewis. George was being the little redheaded stepchild that, that they were just kicking around. And then all of a sudden, George is like, hey, how do you like me now?
Although it is a little like in Love Island where a guy like shoots his shot with a girl, fails, and then goes running back to some other girl. But I think George doesn't care.
No. George has no pride. George is in it to win it. Yeah. George is in it to win it. Yeah.
George doesn't care about being sloppy seconds. He'll get it any way he can get it.
Yeah. He has no ego about that. He's like, I'm number one driver. He's like, this is awesome. He comes.
No, but here's the question: do you think
he puts his arm around Toto and is like, like giving a picture, 2 thumbs up, and Toto just is like miserable, like, oh fuck.
Do you think the resources and the development is going to start? Do you think the setup and all the development of the car? You think they're going to just start spitefully pushing it towards George?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Why would they
You
not do
think
that?
if there's you think if there's a title winning car,
Hey, Matt, guess what? There won't be a title winning car. If there was a title winning car, Lewis would not be leaving fucking Mercedes. This car is going to be a shitbox. That's why Lewis... Listen, Lewis took a bet with Mercedes, right? He left McLaren. When he went to Mercedes, people were like, this is stupid. But I trust Lewis's judgment when it comes to these kinds of things. I think that, like, who knows?
It was a slog. It was the first couple of years was a slog. No,
first couple of years was a slog, but he believed in the long-term project.
Do you think he has those years? Do you think he has those years? It's all
about.
He was a young man when he did it. He was a young man.
It's all about the reg change. It's all about the reg change, and Ferrari must have a fucking good pitch about where they're going to be in 2026 in this reg change and what they're working towards and how the infrastructure is like ready to tackle that head on and how they're ready to go after Red Bull. And I don't think that Lewis was looking around Mercedes and felt confident that this was the place that was going to lead him to the promised land of getting his 8th championship. I mean, that's what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's a bucket list thing. He'd rather go down swinging in a Ferrari.
Yes.
In a blaze of glory.
Yes.
Than that fucking sterile, boring, stupid brand. and I think, you know what? He looked at Fred Vasseur and was probably like, I want to go into battle with this guy.
Yes.
This is the guy I want to go into battle with.
Yes.
And by the way, this is the guy I went into battle with in GP2.
That's right.
He knows Fred.
Those connections run deep. I mean, those waters are deep there.
Yeah.
And could you think of someone who is like the least Toto? He's the anti-Toto. Fred.
Yes.
I mean, you think Fred gives a fuck about how clean the bathrooms are? No.
Fred looks like he's destroyed a bathroom or two in his life.
Fred looks like if Fred walked out of a stall at an airport, I would not go into that stall. Let me tell you that much, okay?
Yeah.
If Toto walked out of a stall, I'd say, "Whoa, wow, it was cleaner than when he came in." Fred, no. But you know what? I bet he'd be in and out of that stall fucking quick, baby, because that guy cares about one thing and one thing only.
That guy doesn't even wash his fucking hands.
That's right. And we've shook his hands, and they're fucking strong. And how do you get that? By not washing them. By Purell? You think you get hands like that by using Purell? No.
It's like a petri dish in those hands.
Yeah.
Fucking strong immune system.
Oh, my God. I mean, all right. So
here's this other $64 question. Here's the other
yes,
$64 question. If Ferrari does have a title-winning car.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think Charles Leclerc is going to be I think Charles Leclerc is probably going to be a bigger pain in the ass than George was.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's been there a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
He's an even better qualifier than George.
Yeah.
Mentally, I would say they're probably similar in a lot of ways. George and Charles.
Yep.
Actually, I'll take that back. George is savvier.
Yeah.
George is more clever than Charles.
Right.
So,
but Charles, I think, maybe has more just raw talent.
Yes, Charles has more talent, less savvy.
Yeah. Yes.
Less political, less Carlos Sainz the ability to kind of make things happen for himself.
Right.
But I think let's say Ferrari gets the car there and it's close to Red Bull.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that they're going to take too many points off each other.
Yeah. I mean, beyond that, that's going far ahead. Just
is it going far ahead? Charles signed a long-term deal. He's going to be there.
No, of course. I'm just more interested of like who's gonna win between the two of those two. No. Whether they take points off of each other and then they can't win a champion, whatever. Like that remains to be seen. If they have a car that's way faster than anyone else and it's just the two of them dominating, a la him and Rosberg, I care about
that.
The
is so. The idea of that happening is so slim.
I understand, but this is what they like to call a thought experiment. If they're in a Rosberg Hamilton 2016 year, like that's as I'm thinking about this, it's like what this is like it's a dream scenario coming true. Like my fantasy.
It is a dream scenario coming true.
It's a dream scenario. So why don't yuck my yum? You know, I'm just trying to like let's imagine a world where the two of them have the dominant car. It's the two of them going at it. Who's taking that? And then what are the politics behind the scenes? I mean, it's Charles has been there for longer, but it's Lewis fucking Hamilton. They're both great on Saturday. I trust Lewis's Sunday
Charles is better on Saturday than Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis gets out qualified by George.
Yep. That's true. Lewis does have like the most poles of all time, but that is also because he had the best car for a long time.
Yeah. And if you look at like Rosberg actually qualified better than Lewis, like or like relative to his talent as a race car driver, qualifying has never been
right. Yeah, Lewis
he's
is
like
an
A+++ driver on Sunday.
Yeah.
And just an A+ qualifier.
Right.
Whereas like Charles is an A+++ qualifier.
Yeah.
And like an A+ race car driver on Sunday.
Yeah. Or an A. I'd give him like an A or an A- on Sunday. I mean, he can be a little reckless on Sunday. That's for sure.
No, but he has the same. But here's the thing: he's got the same problems that maybe Lewis has in the sort of midfield.
Sure.
Where he's like when he's in the middle of the pack, he kind of struggles.
Charles does have the most he's had so many poles relative to wins.
Right, but that's a lot to do with strategy and that their tires fall off.
Right.
But
not
Lewis a lot to do with
Lewis
him.
is also a bit more of a famous tire whisperer. So if there's someone who can like maybe make those tires work, it's going to be Lewis. I mean, I give it to Lewis. I give it to Lewis. There's just a level where like these young guys, they're great and they're part of the next generation, but it's still like I don't know.
I think it also
he's still doing it. He's still like basically in his even though he's old. He's still
I don't think he's in his prime anymore. I think he's at the LeBron stage where like he can turn it on and be the best.
Right. Yes.
But it's not just like
second
day
nature.
in, day out.
Yeah.
Well, he makes more mistakes than he used to, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time believing prime Lewis, 27, 28-year-old Lewis is getting out-qualified by George as much as he is.
Sure. He did lose to Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton. So it has happened.
Well, you know what's really interesting is you can kind of think about it and you can kind of look at it in a certain way like look what happened to Vettel. Like Vettel was really good at driving one type of car.
Yeah.
And then he moved to Ferrari and Charles Leclerc came in.
Yeah.
So Vettel actually beat Raikkonen. But Charles Leclerc was younger and was more adept at driving that type of car. Now, if you put Vettel and Leclerc in that Red Bull, I don't know if Vettel might beat him in that Red Bull. So it all just depends on the kind of car.
I trust Lewis to figure out the car better than Vettel. I feel like Vettel had like his one way of doing it, and I think that Lewis, I have more faith in Lewis's adaptability.
I do too. I'm just pointing out that drivers like their cars a certain way, and maybe Vettel had a narrower window.
Yeah,
but there's still a window, right?
Right. How do you think Charles Leclerc is feeling right now?
I think there's no way he could have signed that deal without knowing that this was a possibility. Right? or he's out of it, or he's furious.
Yeah.
Like that would be such a breach of trust.
Yeah.
To get him to resign.
Right.
And say, by the way,
right,
Lewis, like he signs a 5-year deal or 4. By the way, I don't think he signed a 5-year deal.
No,
he signed it for several. It's like shorter than that.
Yeah. But they're like, hey, oh, by the way, we're talking to Lewis right now, so like maybe stay tuned for that. I don't know, man. I mean, this shit is secret. I mean, this was a tightly kept secret. I mean, sometimes this shit leaks. This shit did not leak.
But now it seems obvious in retrospect.
Yeah.
It seems obvious in retrospect because I put out a TikTok.
Yes.
That was like, what is Ferrari, stupid?
Yeah.
Why don't they just give Carlos Sainz a long-term deal? They think they could do better with Albon?
Yeah.
No. Sainz is the best driver I was like, Sainz is the best driver you could possibly get in that second seat. You could not possibly, and I don't even love Sainz. I'm like, you could not even possibly do better than Carlos Sainz. It's like, actually, this is why they didn't offer him a long-term deal, because they're talking to Lewis fucking Hamilton. I was like, look how marketable Carlos Sainz. There's nobody more marketable than Carlos Sainz. I'm like, oh fuck, there actually is somebody faster and more marketable than Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, they got the most marketable guy in the sport. I mean, Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz has quite an interesting Formula One story. I mean, he came into.
We haven't even talked about that. He's out.
He's out.
He's fucked.
He's out. Well, I think the rumors is that he's going to go to Audi. That his dad has the relationship with Audi.
But it's not his choice. He didn't choose that.
Certainly not his choice. But here's the thing with Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz has just been getting fucking replaced every place that he goes. He goes to Toro Rosso. He's there with Max fucking Verstappen. Push comes to shove. Max Verstappen gets the Red Bull seat. Carlos Sainz, take your talents elsewhere. He goes to Renault. Great. He's at Renault. Uh-oh, actually you're not at Renault anymore because Daniel Ricciardo wants in. So then Carlos Sainz gets the boot. Where does he go? McLaren. He goes to McLaren. A year later.
Was the first, no, he made that choice.
He made that choice, but he might have fucking seen some writing on the wall. Every place that he's gone, there's just been it's been Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Lewis Hamilton just being like, actually, you're a placeholder.
He's always fleeing a burning building with just the clothes on his back.
Yes.
And he always he's a cat. He always manages to land on his feet.
Yeah. And here's the thing. And maybe at like a place like Audi, it can be like actually his team. Maybe. And maybe there's a type of security there. But like also, for the Sainz, I mean, how... we made our bed with Sainz, too. People were like, Sainz is better than Leclerc. Sainz is better than Leclerc. Well, you know who doesn't think so? The Ferrari organization. That's who doesn't fucking think so. Because who do they sign?
The people with the data. The
people with the data and the people who actually know about this shit said, no, actually, Carlos Sainz will take Charles Leclerc 10 days out of 10. And, we can get Lewis Hamilton? Yeah, Carlos, it's been nice. It's been nice having you there, bud. I mean, there's levels to this shit.
And now let's talk about something else.
Yes.
Monster Energy left.
Yep.
All these sponsors leaving.
Yep.
Maybe that had something to do with the fact that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, now you have to look back.
I wonder how many sponsors Toto's going to be able to land now.
Now you look back and you see all the it's like in hindsight, it's like after someone broke up. It's after a breakup, and then you look back and you said, "Oh yeah, there was that time where." Oh, she said that she was busy, but then I saw on Find My Friends that she was just at her house, like not doing anything. You start looking back. Oh, there's that time where it took her like an hour to text me back. That was weird.
Right.
Maybe she was fucking. Oh, she was kind of flirting. She was always talking about her friend from work. Toto's looking back, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Lewis is always talking about what a great guy Fred Vasseur was. Oh fuck,
how funny he is.
How funny Fred is. Oh wow. Oh yeah." And then Lewis, he was wearing red a lot to that. He was wearing red. He looked so happy at Monza. Oh yeah, there was that time where they crashed into each other, and then Toto Wolff was not at the race because I wasn't there, so I had to call in and onto the radio and said, "Boys, let's work together." Maybe that didn't go over so fucking well.
Also, he told them Lewis was like, "I don't like where my seat is."
Right.
And he asked he said that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So 2022 he didn't like his seat. 2023 seat stayed the same.
Yeah.
2024, they switched his seat.
Yeah. They're gonna move that seat fucking back now. Like fuck you.
Fred,
and your
Fred's like wherever you want to sit, babe.
Wherever you want to sit, babe. Wherever you want to sit. No, it's beautiful.
All right, I think that about does it.
I think that about does it. I mean, this is just the greatest thing. Oh, it's awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Lewis Hamilton.
R.I.P. Toto Wolff.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Mercedes.
You ever being relevant again.
You better hope Kimi Antonelli fucking stays in the Mercedes team, in the program. Because, in this game, anything can fucking happen.
Oh, it's like, can they move him up again? Can they pay for him to go straight to Logan Sargent's seat? Crazy.
Oh, I just want to say one last thing. Oscar Piastri, did you see what his tweet today?
Didn't he say, did I miss something?
Yeah. Oscar Piastri, I mean, there's the shitstorm. Everyone's talking about it. This is breaking the fucking internet. It's all over. And then Oscar Piastri just tweets, "Just been for a run. Have I missed anything?" I mean, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
No one does a better just one time, just break the fucking internet. Perfect tone, perfect everything.
It's Gen Z. He's Gen Z.
He
basically
He's a fucking
only
Gen Z
exists
kid.
online.
He fucking ate with that. No crumbs.
Yeah. No crumbs.
And Lewis ate with this announcement. No crumbs. You know where there's crumbs? All over the Mercedes fucking factory. That's where there's some fucking crumbs. Oh my God. All right. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Goodbye, Venkas.
Goodbye, Venkas. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.